So this is Phantom Electric Ghost, and we're talking from our home studio. And this episode is called "Thunderclap Comes the Storm," and it's about the stream of consciousness and expansive sound. So, a lot of what we do is we are a DAW-less producer, and a DAW is a digital audio workstation. So, a lot of what we do is we put together our songs in an old school method with hardware synths like our Juno GI and our Moog grandmother and Moog drum machine, the DFAM, all of the stuff we've got, and we'll talk more about the hardware we have. Um, and record kind of like back in the day when we were going to college when we were like 18, 19 years old. We had a CZ101 and then we traded it up for a Roland D5, which was a dumbed down D50, a linear synthesizer. And we had a Korg sequencer that used little diskettes because this was like a 256 voice, multi trimble um, synth, and so we had a Tascam 4 tracker, and we would sequence like multiple lines with the Korg sequencer, and then bounce them down to like you know a 4 track that could do maybe 8 tracks on cassette, and then we go put the cassette in our car and listen to it. Um, And so we always liked that kind of style recording. We kind of shied away from getting, Ableton, Pro Tools, and all the other tools because when we looked at it, it's like, well, we really like recording that way because recording like this old school way because then we don't have any compression, we don't have to wait for rendering, and then we just kind of punch in. You do have to play the material, and we use our sequencers and drum machines and things to try to keep time, um, but, we're not using the grid to keep the time. So then if we wanna do something interesting, we're not locked in. And we'll talk about that because we're gonna be getting a new device that's actually gonna lock us in more. Um, but overall, what we like to do is we go on Facebook Live, and, a lot of times we'll go and do a jam session and we'll record it. And so this, like, "Thunderclap Comes the Storm" is a really raw recording, and the mic is a little too hot. We're probably gonna have to re-record it. But we captured, this whole kind of feel, um, and it was this kind of psychosexual thing that Josephine does all the time. Now, Josephine Electric is my alter ego. I've created her through subtractive synthesis, through the use of a VT3 or VT4. In this case, I believe I was using the VT3, and, we used the Studio Electronics microphone, into an MX1 performance mixer and into the Zoom R24, which is our recording solution. So we used to have an R16, we moved up to the 24. We're thinking again the L20. Um, so this is our DAW-less solution. So what we're able to do is take monophonic synths like the Moog grandmother, route them into the MX1 as a single quarter inch, and then output them as double quarter-inch outs, right and left, and then we get a hardware stereo mix that goes into the Zoom R24, and then we just do stereo tracks, and typically, we don't use all 24 tracks. A lot of times, when maybe we'll do up to 8, because a lot of times what we have is a lot of stuff going on from our hardware. So from our hardware, we have, we might have a Moog bass line coming in. We might have a DFAM drum line or percussive line coming in off an Arturia 6U Euro solution that includes the Arturia Mini Brute 2S. And then we've got like the Mother 32, which is our first Moog. And then we got the DFAM, which is the drummer from another mother, which is a great drum machine. We've only got a single one. A lot of people get two or three of them and kind of put them on top of each other. Um, and then we've got the grandmother, which was like the latest Moog we got. We were lusting after a subharmonicon and a matriarch, but we haven't been able to push the button on those. Um, but with the setup we have now, we've got one oscillator from the grandmother, two oscillators from the DFAM, and then two oscillators and a modulation oscillator off the grandmother, which could give you another three oscillators. So in total, you could have about 6 oscillators, Moog oscillators that we can work with, which is pretty cool. And then we can sync them together, or we can have them out of sync, and create all kind of discordance or uh, more melodic stuff. A lot of time we do a lot of discordant stuff, and we have one of our favorite tools in our Eurorack is the control unit, with is the maths module for make noise, which allows you to take in a bunch of VCA signals and then change, like radically change something. So we can take a DFAM beat, which is only 8 steps and can't be controlled by MIDI, and then control it with the maths module and put it into an envelope and slow it down, put breaks into it, make it have all kinds of strange behavior on on the ramping up or ramping down of an envelope, or make it like a random voltage generator and trigger it in different ways, or use a grandmother 256 fix 6 step 256 step sequencer and extend, the sequencer, which is only 8 steps on the base machine. Also, we can use the make noise morphogene, which is a Eurorack sampler, which is very interesting. We can actually use that to drive the rhythm of the DFAM, which we do sometimes. And then sometimes we'll take our OPZ and bring it into an MX1 through like an eighth of an inch line, which the MX1 has an eighth of an inch line. So you can bring in iPhones, you can bring in other alternative things like iPods and MacBooks, iPods and iPads and iPhones you can bring in through the quarter inch line, like a lightning cable to a quarter inch. And so a technique is sometimes we'll take an OPZ beat of the Teenage Engineering OPZ and sample it into the morphogene, and then use that, or just have it directly into the MX1 as a beat and then work with that. And then for our primary drum machine is kind of a weird thing. We never got an 808, but what we do have is a JDXI, which has an 808 and a 727 and a 909, and many other classic Roland drum machines, kind of like what the Jupiter XM has. So the JDXI is a hybrid digital analog synth, and we're able to extend the drum machines that are inside of it with a Arturia BeatStep Pro. And then when we first got the BeatStep Pro, we just manually triggered projects. We put projects together that were in similar timings, and then extend the parts by jumping from one project to the next. They did an update where you can do chain patterns, and we haven't updated it since then. Um, but we use the chain pattern update to actually make songs with it. And so then we can extend an 808 off the JDXI with the BeatStep Pro, and there's no lag. So like I said, we still can actually have multiple projects. They could be in the same time signature, and then use that to make very extended jams. Or when we're playing live, we can change the order really fast. You can just hit the shift button and change the order with the pads of what the drums are doing. So a lot of what we do is we have this ability to do this polyrhythmic uh, drums, because we can use an OPZ for drums, we can use the DFAM, and we can use the JDXI, and we can even use the Juno. And we actually within the Zoom R24 is a drum machine and sampling capability, which we've used very sparingly, maybe only 4 times we've used the drum machine inside the R24 because it's kind of hard to use. Doesn't lend itself to live usage that great. So hold on, we're gonna make another segment. So this is Josephine Electric, and I'm coming to talk about the rest of this episode. Thunderclap comes the storm, stream of consciousness in expansive sound. Now the fandom was discussing all the things he likes to get into, which are, he likes to get into the fact that he uses all of these hardware synths, and I like it hard. I like it very hard. And we like to do these jam sessions, and he'll just start, on his Moog and start noodling around, and then I'll jump in. And this idea here for the first song, which is very rough vocal, because we didn't separate the vocals, didn't get to EQ it. We kind of was just coming up with a jam, and we came up with this jam, and came up with this idea. that, in a thunderstorm, he's like the gods are having, making love. I think Zeppelin talked about this before. It's always like this idea in the thunderclap comes the storm, or the thunderclap comes storm. It was originally what we wrote, and then I was like, oh, maybe that's too vulgar. So we say, oh, thunderclap comes the storm, and it's just basically about making love in the middle of a storm, and the consequences of little death all over the soak sheets in the room. So that's what it is. Now that song is cool, but we think that the better song from this session is this one called "Dark Hair Girls from Another World." And this one we actually put down the music and then did the vocals as a separate track. And we used the Roland VT4 vocal transformer, which we love to use this machine because what it does is it allows us to do harmony. So you hear, this harmony here is where you can double up on it. And then we can also introduce a megaphone, and we can use that. And the megaphone allows us to have an interesting sound, kind of like the Gorillas, Damon Albarn. And then we can put the robot in, and the robot's pretty cool. And there's a lot of different things you can do. Um, and then you can take the pitch down a little bit more and do the harmony there. It's a little lower, or you can get my voice a little bit higher, and then it's a little bit more voluptuous or whatever. You get into it. So we can adjust my voice however we want with this transformer. In this song, we're kind of talking about how everybody's always talking about how blondes have more fun, but we're saying like dark haired girls have more sway. That there's a little kind of witchy thing going on, a witchy woman. There's a little thing it's like a dark princess, and we just feel there's like this whole thing about the dark-haired woman, is just a little more dangerous, a little more of a dominatrix, which that's the role I play. It's not playing a role; is what it is. And so the idea is, after that thunderclap, I really get my whip out, and I hold sway over anybody, whether a woman or a man, and we just get into it, and this is the nature of expansive sound. So we get into it again. We're doing a megaphone, but a lot of people seem to like that song because it had a really interesting vocal uh, aspect, and sometimes we play with the VT3. We probably should have saved it. We didn't save it, but it really came in good at that time. We really liked the way that sounded, and it had a really cool feel. That's too much reverb, but um, yeah, we're gonna put this out in a whole new collection of songs. So we went out on SoundCloud. We already created a playlist that we're putting these songs in. So the next album that we're gonna put out is called Thunderclap Comes the Storm. We're probably gonna re-record Thunderclap Comes the Storm and fix the vocal, um, and then do the dark-haired girls have their sways on here. Sweet Sugar Wall Ball. Don't Play with GC Girls. Darlin's IV is the TV parts 1 and 2 and parts 5 and 6, which we released, but we remastered that and shortened it. The original version was like 12 minutes, and then we brought them down so we could master them with SoundCloud mastering with Dolby Labs. It's shameless pitch. Then Katie, My Sweet Fate, my darling Katie. And then we did a new version of Dancing and Drowning in the Shallow Waters, and that's the live version that we have on here. And I think that version's like, how long is it? Like 21 minutes long. So it's a pretty long song. So we had to like master that with Landar. That's one thing. Like Landar can handle things that are longer than 10 minutes. And then if something's under 10 minutes, and we use Dolby Labs. Now, one thing that we're getting into that we're going to talk about a little bit is, when we want to collaborate with other people, because we use like the Zoom R24, and we can take in stem files and we can punch them in, but everybody's working on the grid, and so we really don't like using the computer. So we're going to move to an Akai Force, which is a grid-based kind of Ableton Live type of production, but it's all contained in the box. So it's a self-contained machine. You can connect it with CV and USB and quarter inch to all your stuff. And then you can actually import Ableton Live into it. You can export it. What's cool about it is that we can introduce like somebody's top line as a WAV file, bring it in, sample it, rework it, move it all around. Um, Now the one thing we've heard is it's not very inventive in terms of rhythm. But we have other ways to do that. We can just record directly into the Zoom and do whatever with it rhythm we want because we're not being controlled by any kind of quantization. So if we want to do that, and we're going to talk to some people at Sweetwater and see if there's a way to do maybe alternative uh, types of rhythm on the machine. Uh, but if you want to do something like that, then you'll probably get a make noise, uh, zero control, or subharmonicon, and play with polyrhythmic stuff, or even get a Beat Step Key Step Pro, um, so that you can play with that because that has a little bit more control. And we debated getting the Key Step over the Force, but the Force is what we want to do. Is if you want to go out and play live and not have to bring a heavy footprint, we can bring that as our main controller. Maybe bring our 6U and maybe bring our grandmother and basically control everything. And then maybe have like an a an Arturia Keylab keyboard. So if we want to, get another box, get like an MC707 and bring in an RD piano. That might be the easiest way we can bring an RD in. Um, or you can get a rolling controller for it. Like get a MC7. You can probably even get an MC101. The cheaper way to get the box to get all those sounds. Get a 101 and then get like a Keylab, or maybe get a like a Korg, no, maybe a Yamaha controller, like a Yamaha board, performance keyboard, and bring that in. And we actually are working with the guy who's like a big time Yamaha guy, Kevin Stratton, and hopefully maybe Yamaha will hear us and like, oh, give us one of those really cool Nord like boards that they got, and it actually has FM stuff in it too, and it's got the drawbars and all that stuff. So we're pretty psyched about all this stuff. And again, we'll just talk about a little bit about what we're doing. We are doing the PEG Family Electric Ghost Bedroom Producer Festival from July 16th to the 18th. It features all the bands that are willing to come on to this festival that have been interviewed over the last 3 years um, on our podcast. So on our podcast, when we're not talking about our own stuff, we actually focus on other people's music or acting or art or anything like that. We talk to painters, we talk to classical musicians, we talk to actors like Jess Davis and poets. Um, so what we would do on the 16th to the 18th through StreamYard, we're going to allow people to uh, perform from their home or from their bedroom studio or from wherever and do a 20, 30-minute set. And we're going to do a set too. Um, and we're going to see where it goes. And hopefully we don't have some big foo bars and stuff going on, but it's the first time we're going to do it. We're trying to make sure we do it right. We're practicing. We're telling people what to do, telling people how to use OBS with StreamYard, and showing people how to do alternative productions. Some people are sending in MPEG 4s, which is another way to do it, or a YouTube video. But a lot of people playing live, and so it's gonna be pretty cool. We hope you tune in on our Facebook and YouTube channels, and we've got that information out there. We'll include it on this episode as to where you can see us. But if you just go to our Facebook, Family Electric Ghost on Facebook, and Family Electric Ghost on YouTube on the 16th, starting at 7 p.m. New York time, you'll right at the top of the page, the stuff will start happening. So, and if you go to our Instagram, Family Electric Ghost, and click on the bio profile, you can get to our Facebook and YouTube link. So that's probably the easiest way. Just go to Family Electric Ghost on Facebook, or go to Family Electric Ghost on on all this stuff and do it, and it should be pretty cool. But we'll talk to you later. We love everybody. listen to the Ghost. And again, be a supporter of the Ghost. Hit our PayPal me link on our Spotify and our SoundCloud. Donate what you can. Become a supporter of the podcast here through Anchor FM. And we'll talk to y'all later.
girls have their sway. You better watch out, don't get hurt that way. Your heart is fucked, you're under a third wave. In 1969, over your face. Heart is fucked, and you know your place. You're gonna be forever slave. Her heart is fucked and under her sway, drowning under their sick wave. Dark-haired girls have their sway. You better watch out, you get hurt that way. You're under the third, fourth wave. It's 1969 all over your face. Under this way, you're gonna be her slave. Hard day. You know that's your place. It's the hate, baby. Dark-haired girls have their swing. Yeah, don't you know you get hurt that way? The dark-haired girl make you know your place. Under the third, fourth wave, it's 1969. All day, doing 69 with so much gray. You dark-haired girls know how to sway. You know you'll get hurt that way. Dark-haired girls, oh, okay. Hard as fuck, you'll be under that wave. Under that wave. Under her sway, the dark-haired girl built that way. The drowning you fuck under the ocean wave. The dark-haired girls have their sway. The drowning you fuck under a third wave. Know your place. It's 1969 all over your face. You know your place. 1969 all over your face. Dark-haired girls have their sway. Your heart is fucked every way. The dark-haired girls hit you, okay? No, you'll be a slave. You know, it's okay. They have their sway. You'll get hurt that way. You're a dark-haired girl, you're all day. You're drowning under that ocean wave. It's 1969 over your face. And you don't have any grace. You didn't know that you were that way. Drowning you fucked under ocean wave. 1969 all day. You're gonna be under her sway. It's 1969 all day. It's her face. You're gonna be under that sway. 1969 all day.